Tyson Fury to the winner goes spoils, right? Like he won the fight, come out on top, won in, I think, spectacular fashion, and what I think was a great fight and great performance on his part. What is next for him? You know, should he fight the winner of Alexander Usyk, Joshua? Should Joshua step aside? Should we get Undisputed now? Okay, should he fight Dillian Whyte? You know what I mean? Or should he take a tune-up? What do you guys think is next for him? What do you think, Christine? Let's start with you.
You know, the only person that I'd want to see him fight next is going to be tied up for a while. You know, he's going to fight. That's Usyk. He's going to fight AJ, and then he already has the rematch clause. I mean, that'll happen the end of 2022 possibly. So I think the only other option would be winner of Whyte and Wallin. But Usyk is the one that I'd want to see him fight. You know, there's nobody else. I mean, he's already been to the top of the mountain. You know, and what else is there?
Well, I think it's a double question, D, because there's two things here that are kind of running parallel. There's what we would like to see happen and what will likely happen. Exactly. So what we'd like to see happen is an undisputed fight for the heavyweight championship of the world between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Before the Usyk upset, I know people are like, oh, I don't want to see that. It's going to be a boring fight. I think it would be a great fight. I mean, that's a Rubik's Cube that I would like to see both guys attempt to struggle on both sides, right? But the reality is that we have to operate within a world where the business of boxing dominates, and the business of boxing dictates that guys like Joshua can insist on rematch clauses, and Joshua is going to have a rematch with Usyk. On the flip side of it, as a secondary option, I would like to see Tyson Fury take on Dillian Whyte in England. You're talking about two English-based fighters who would do blockbuster numbers against one another in a stadium fight in England. I think both of them have styles that would mesh very, very well. And I'd pick Fury by knockout in that fight just because of the way Dillian Whyte fights. But I think it would be a very exciting fight, probably as exciting as the third fight with Wilder, to be honest, for as long as it lasted.
I'm a huge Fury fan. I love Fury to death, but I have to be a realist. He's very unpredictable. He could retire tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. And that's scary because usually when he has such a high moment like this, a lot of times there's a low. Right, because you get to such a high point, what else can equal this? I don't think Dillian Whyte can get them juices flowing like Wilder did. Right, maybe Usyk could, possibly, but there's going to be some time in between. And like I said, if Wallin does upset Whyte, is Fury going to want to fight Wallin? He already beat him. I thought Wallin won 3 rounds in that fight. I had that fight scored 9-3, so I do think Fury did win it handily, but I do think Wallin won 3 rounds. But like you guys said, what I want to happen and what is going to happen are two different things. So I would want him to fight the Wallin Whyte winner, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So
fair enough.
What I would like to see happen, obviously, is Undisputed. I always talk about that. Will we get it? Who knows? Now, I know that Whyte and Wallin are fighting for an opportunity at Fury. I think there's a situation here. I think that if Whyte happens to win, and I say happens because I don't think he's going to win that fight, but if he happens to win, that's a fight that could probably be made. I don't know if he'd be excited to get back in there with Wallin because he's already fought him. I remember reading an article early last week that there's still a possibility that they're going to try to make that Fury-Joshua fight because of the fan bases over there in the UK. So that's a possibility too. So, I mean, who knows? But I would much rather see Usyk. I think Usyk's going to beat Joshua again. He's all wrong for Joshua after seeing that first fight. But probably he'll end up going with Whyte, I think. And if Whyte wins, but I don't think he's winning that fight. I think he is definitely a live dog. I agree with you, Beeb.
Well, I 100% back everything that Christine said at the beginning. I would love to see Tyson Fury versus Usyk, but again, it's what we want, but doesn't mean it's going to happen anytime soon. I really could care less about a Usyk AJ rematch. I mean, I guess Fury could fight whoever wins Whyte versus Wallin. Whatever, doesn't really do anything for me. But I would. The reason why in the previous question that you asked, when you were asking your opinion on what if Wilder should retire, I would want to see Wilder retire because I actually want to see him fight AJ. I've wanted to see this fight before he even had his trilogy with Fury because I would be very interested to see who would win now that he had the broken hands. I don't know. I feel like that fight would be a very interesting fight to be had. So I don't want to see him retire just yet. In regards to Fury, he could retire if he wanted to. I believe that whoever gets put in front of him, he's just going to have them taste the canvas. But at the same time, just like Wilder, this sport is his life. He lives boxing. It saved his life. You know, as everyone knows about Fury, you know, he went through a huge issue with drug abuse and, you know, was fighting a lot of demons. And I think that boxing helped pull him out of that. He lost a lot of weight and now he's a world champ. And I don't think that he's willing to give it up just yet. He loves the sport too much to just retire. I think we need to see him in a couple big fights. Definitely looking forward to Usyk, but time will tell.
I have to sort of agree with I'm going to call him Merciful Habib today because he's been kind of calm today. Very unpredictable. I hope that his mental game, his mental state, you know, is where he needs to be for him to want to enjoy being who he is right now, the king of the heavyweight division. For him to want to keep moving forward, for him to, you know, want to go for that next step of Undisputed instead of reaching that state of mind where he's like, you know what, I'm going to take a few years worth of break. You know, it could happen, guys. It could happen. What I want to see as a boxing fan, obviously, is Undisputed. However, I find myself sometimes contradicting myself because I also want mandatories to be respected as what they are. Mandatories. And right now, Dillian Whyte is the mandatory, right? So now that's me versus me when it comes to that. But if we want to put it strictly business, strictly professional boxing, I think like I forgot who it was that was saying the king of rematch clause. I think that the rematch between AJ and Usyk is going to happen. I think Usyk will beat AJ again. And then I'm not one of the ones that's saying that Usyk versus Fury is going to be a boring fight. In fact, I think it'll be a very entertaining fight where two very educated boxers are going to go head to head. In my opinion, as I said in my live stream, Usyk is technically sounded, you know, a little bit more than Tyson Fury. However, Tyson Fury is also an excellent boxer, very slippery, very defensive minded. Now he has shown an offensive side to himself, and then you add the size and the reach advantage. That's the only reason why I would give Tyson Fury an edge if that fight was to ever happen.
Hey guys, son.
The
disrespect for AJ. I mean, the disrespect for Anthony Joshua. You know, he was counted out after he lost to Ruiz, came back, beat Ruiz, proved the doubters wrong. You know what I mean? And now, and now that he lost to Usyk, like nobody even wants to propose a fight with him and Fury.
No, time out.
The disrespect.
Not disrespect.
No.
He beat a very careless Andy Ruiz. A Ruiz that won he became the first Mexican heavyweight and went and ate 600 tacos a day for the next 2 months.
Eddie Hearn,
you know what I mean?
Only wants Usyk. Eddie Hearn said,
you know, I get it. Look, I get it. Like the
no fat shaming, no fat shaming. Let me
finish my point. You know what I mean? Let me finish my point. Look, I want to see AJ fight Usyk again, and then I want the winner to fight Fury. That's what I want, right? That's what I want. AJ has earned the right to get his title back. Am I wrong? Does he not have the best resume at heavyweight right now?
I don't like.
Hold on, Maestro. You'll respond when I speak the truth. You just have to take it. You know what I mean? All right. When these style boxing, like I get it.
on this
But let me
phone.
tell you something. Let me roll up my sleeves right now, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody just
those Red Bulls.
like I get it. We want to see Undisputed. I get it. Cool. But when Joshua was like, okay, let's do it, and Fury was lying to the public, saying that he's free. Oh, I'm free to do whatever I want. My fight's not going to go to arbitration. Blah 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 blah. He goes on social media. He says the fight's official. Then the arbitrator put the fucking hammer down. That's the one hammer he couldn't avoid. That's the one hammer he couldn't get away from. Right. So now, after AJ was like, after Usyk stepped aside and AJ was willing to fight him, now conveniently, now that he's free, oh no, AJ, I don't give a shit if you've been the reigning champion all these years, okay? I don't give a shit if you took over the mantle after this motherfucker disappeared for 2.5 years from the sport, all right? Because that's what he did. He stepped up for the division. That's what he did. He has every right, whether we think he could do it or not, to get his titles back. And if he does, that's a big fight. I don't know if he could beat Usyk, and I haven't made that decision yet. But if he does, you're telling me, if he could come back and beat Usyk, your juices wouldn't be up for a damn Fury fight?
No, I wouldn't.
That's what I want next. I want AJ versus Fury. That's what I want. All right? And you know what you do, Fury? You wait. You wait for Usyk to fight AJ. That's what your ass is going to do because you lied to the public, all right? That's what you did. Now you wait. All right, how about that? Now everybody needs to step aside for Fury.
He lied to the public.
He did lie to the public.
Talking about AJ has a right to step up for his rematch, but Usyk voluntarily stepped aside to allow Undisputed for the sake of boxing.
So what? He was new to the division. What has Usyk done? I mean, he was new to the division, bro. Come on.
It doesn't matter.
We're talking about a reigning champion. We're talking about so many characters. He gave juices back to the sport. Like you're gonna forget. Like look at what AJ did for boxing, bro. Like when he beat Klitschko, that was an amazing fight. And then he brought popularity in the UK for boxing again. He gave us a lot of great fights. You can't deny that. He's been a great champion and ambassador for the sport. He deserves to get his titles back. He deserves that chance.
Okay.
He deserves that chance.
A lot of people deserve a lot of things, but you know what? We're also presenting possibilities and things that could happen, and that's unfortunately what
I got to respond to a couple of things that these out throughout there. Number one, what has Usyk done? He went to London and beat the living crap out of Anthony Joshua.
No, whoa. I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth. I said before, because he said he was willing to step aside. That was before.
That's what you said. You asked, what has Usyk done? He went to the Tottenham Hotspur.
Amilcar. Maestro. Do you know what past tense means, right? Past tense, present tense, right?
Yeah, that happened.
Ross said he was willing to step aside. At that time, he hadn't done shit at heavyweight. That was my point.
Okay, now to your point, exciting fights. Okay, Joseph Parker, AJ, snooze fest. I'm sorry. AJ.
Because Fury was in so many amazing fights,
AJ Ruiz 2, the Battle of the Dunes. Snooze fest.
It wasn't his fault. Andy looked like a walrus. It's not his fault.
That dude